Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having one of these. I've never had one before, but it's interesting. I like it. And tonight I'll be discussing Shake the Hand of the Devil by Kay Midori. This is a book where the author reached out to me asking me if I can read and review it. I said sure, so they sent me an art copy, and I, of course, am going to give my honest opinion. And when it comes to the rating for this book, it's a little weird. It's a 3.75/4. Now, the reason for this weird rating, I will explain later on when I'm giving my thoughts on the book, but to do that, I do have to give a little bit of a spoiler in terms of how this book ends. If that's not something you're interested in, you may want to skip that portion of the review. These are the tropes, the content warnings. So what's this book about? So this book is about Angelica, whose life is never going to be the same. After coming home to a cracked front door and upon investigating, found the mutilated body of not just her fiance, but that of her best friend in bed, naked together. This looks to be the work of the local serial unalive, or at least the death portion. Now she's having to deal with the loss of not just the two people closest to her, but also having to deal with their betrayal as well, while living in a small town, so people are giving her suspicious looks while gossiping behind her back. Now, while trying to deal with her dark thoughts on the matter, a small comment slips out to a reporter that makes its way back to the Crimson Masked Devil, where she would like to shake the hand of the devil for what he did for her. Intrigued by her comment, the devil has decided, regardless of the danger of getting caught, he wants to get closer to Angelica because he is not done with her, and he will not stop until his curiosity is satisfied. So what are my thoughts? Again, I'm giving this book a little bit of a weird rating, a 3.75/4. To explain that, I do have to give a small spoiler about how this book ends. If you do not want to know, feel free to skip. Now, when the author reached out to me, they described it as a dark romance. The thing is, with romances, even dark ones, you are guaranteed a happily ever after. It's just going to be a crazy ride with crazy characters, and if it doesn't happen in book one, it will happen down the line in a future book, but you will get your happily ever after. I went into this book thinking it was a standalone, and the way it finished felt like a standalone. There was no cliffhanger, but there was a few unanswered questions. But most importantly, it did not have a happily ever after. I was confused. So I did reach out to the author and I was like, hey, is this a standalone or is there going to be a sequel? The author responded that they left it open for the possibility of a sequel, but they are not sure if there will be a sequel, which is why, again, it didn't, in my opinion, have a true cliffhanger and had more of a note of finality. In my opinion, it does not then meet the qualification as a romance novel. So as a dark romance, I'm giving this book a 3.75. Now, I would have given this a 4 if I knew this was the start of a series with a guaranteed sequel, because then I would eventually get my happily ever after. Now, I did reach out to the author providing feedback, and I told her to feel free to disregard it. And normally I don't provide feedback unless an author asks of me, but I did want to say that I don't think this qualifies as a dark romance because there is not a guaranteed happily ever after. And some readers, like myself, will feel disappointed in that. That maybe she should instead market this as an erotic thriller that evolves into a dark romance if she decides to continue the series. Now, again, this is just my opinion. No one has to listen to me, and I am never going to discourage anyone from reading a book. If this sounds like something you want to try, I strongly encourage you to give it a try for yourself. This is a solid book, and I did enjoy the story and the characters. I was just missing my happily ever after because that's what I was expecting. It feels like a darker, morally black version of Lights Out. So if you wanted Lights Out but darker, definitely give this book a try. It is currently available, and I strongly encourage anyone to give this book a try for themselves, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.